Undeniable presence. Calvin Klein boss's statement sparks online frenzy. When a global brand executive chooses his words carefully, the industry listens. But when those words include undeniable presence, the internet explodes. That is exactly what happened after David Savman, global brand president of Calvin Klein, publicly praised Jungkook of BTS in the brand's latest campaign release. Jungkook brings a global point of view and undeniable presence, making him the perfect partner to bring this vision to life and reinforce the Calvin Klein way of living for a new generation. It was a polished corporate statement, yet fans and industry observers immediately treated it as something more: validation. Because undeniable presence is not standard ambassador language. In luxury branding vocabulary, executives typically emphasize alignment, creativity, or reach. Presence, however, speaks to impact. It suggests command. It implies that the individual does not merely appear within the campaign, but defines it. And that distinction is fueling speculation that Jungkook has crossed into a new category, not simply idol-turned-ambassador, but global fashion force. The visuals that accompanied the statement reinforced the narrative. Set inside a retro vinyl record store, Jungkook appeared in an open white denim jacket, revealing sculpted definition beneath, paired with clean white trousers and minimal accessories. The aesthetic balanced nostalgia and modern sensuality, classic Calvin Klein DNA, infused with contemporary energy. Within hours, images went viral across X and Instagram. Fan accounts like @DailyJKPraise amplified the release, generating thousands of interactions in a matter of minutes. Hashtags number Jungkook's Calvin Klein and number Jungkook for Calvin Klein surged again, echoing patterns seen in his previous campaigns. But what shifted this time was tone. Savman's comment did not frame Jungkook as a regional star expanding westward. It positioned him as someone bringing a global point of view. That phrasing implies influence flowing in multiple directions, not merely east to west, but generationally across markets. Fashion analysts have noted that such language elevates an ambassador's strategic value. It signals that the individual contributes cultural perspective rather than simply lending image. For Jungkook, whose solo album Golden marked a decisive international crossover moment, the timing feels aligned. Since 2023, his collaborations with Calvin Klein have produced measurable retail acceleration and sustained digital dominance. Each campaign cycle has amplified both brand visibility and his own positioning within the global luxury ecosystem. And fans noticed the subtext. Online reactions quickly reframed Savman's statement as corporate confirmation of what ARMY has long argued. Jungkook is not participating in fashion, he is shaping it. Comments flooded timelines declaring, "He doesn't wear the brand wears him," and "undeniable presence equals main character energy." Hyperbole aside, the metrics are difficult to ignore. Repeated sellouts of items he wears, cross-regional engagement spikes, trending dominance across multiple continents simultaneously. In fashion economics, consistency is more telling than virality. Jungkook has demonstrated both. There is also symbolic resonance in Savman's phrase, "for a new generation." Luxury houses are acutely aware that Gen Z loyalty determines future market stability. By framing Jungkook as the embodiment of that generational shift, Calvin Klein subtly acknowledges his role as cultural translator bridging K-pop, Western pop aesthetics, and global youth identity. And perhaps that is where the true power lies. Jungkook exists at the intersection of music credibility and fashion adaptability. As BTS prepares for reunion activities in 2026, his individual campaigns expand the group's collective cultural footprint. Instead of competing with his idol identity, fashion partnerships reinforce it. So when Savman described him as possessing undeniable presence, netizens did not see flattery. They saw industry endorsement. Because in fashion, presence is currency. And right now, Jungkook appears to be spending and generating it at scale. And what makes the phrase undeniable presence even more potent is what it quietly replaces. For years, K-pop idols entering Western fashion spaces were described as rising, emerging, or crossing over. The language often suggested transition as if their presence required contextualization. Savman's wording does the opposite. There is no qualifier, no geographic framing, no novelty angle. Undeniable. In branding psychology, that word signals authority. It implies that debate is unnecessary because impact is self-evident. Industry observers quickly dissected the statement not just for its praise, but for its positioning strategy. When the global brand president of Calvin Klein publicly credits an ambassador with bringing a global point of view, it subtly acknowledges influence flowing toward the brand, not just from it. That reversal matters. Traditionally, luxury houses confer status upon ambassadors. In this case, the dynamic appears reciprocal. Jungkook's cultural gravity enhances Calvin Klein's contemporary relevance just as the brand reinforces his fashion authority. It is less endorsement, more symbiosis. And the data strengthens that interpretation. Each time Jungkook appears in a Calvin Klein release, algorithmic velocity follows. Engagement spikes are not limited to fan communities. Mainstream fashion pages, streetwear accounts, and Western entertainment outlets amplify the visuals. This cross-sector traction suggests that his appeal now extends beyond core ARMY demographics. There is also a visual evolution worth noting. Earlier campaigns leaned heavily into youthful minimalism. The latest imagery, vinyl records, open denim, sculpted confidence feels more assured. Less rising star, more established figure commanding frame. That maturation aligns with his broader career arc post-Golden and amid the anticipated resurgence of BTS activities. Savman's statement may therefore function as both complement and forecast. If Jungkook is positioned as the face reinforcing the Calvin Klein way of living for a new generation, he becomes part of the brand's identity narrative, not just seasonal marketing. That level of integration typically indicates long-term strategic vision. Netizens sensed it instantly. Comments shifted from admiring aesthetics to analyzing hierarchy. He's not just modeling, he's defining. This is legacy building. CK basically said he's the moment. The language online mirrors corporate terminology, validation, dominance, generational impact. Of course, fashion dominance is never static. It requires sustained relevance, evolving aesthetics, and continued cultural resonance. But the convergence of executive endorsement, repeat collaborations, and measurable retail acceleration suggests Jungkook's positioning is no longer speculative. It is structural. As 2026 unfolds with reunion momentum building and luxury partnerships deepening, the distinction between idol and industry force grows increasingly blurred. Savman called it undeniable presence. The market appears to agree. And perhaps the most telling sign is not the viral hashtags or the trending charts. It is the shift in how industry language now frames him. Fashion media no longer introduces Jungkook with explanatory context. There is no need to preface his name with genre qualifiers or regional identifiers. The assumption of global recognition is built in. That normalization marks a turning point. When a figure's presence becomes self-sustaining, the narrative moves from emerging force to established pillar.